Hey fam, big thanks for the love and support. Just keeping it real. While I work hard to bring solid NHL predictions, remember, the game's unpredictable. My picks are here to guide you, but always trust your gut and do your own research. It's your money and your call. Keep the vibe positive, enjoy the game, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and donate if you can. All right, let's dive into today's NHL predictions. Today we have predictions for 4 NHL games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Philadelphia Flyers and Carolina Hurricanes. In this heated Metropolitan Division showdown, the Philadelphia Flyers are set to tackle the Carolina Hurricanes, a powerhouse team that has quickly established itself as one of the league's toughest competitors. The Flyers, currently holding last place in the division with a 4-7-1 record, aim to make waves as they confront a second-place Carolina squad charging into the season with an 8-2-0 record. This is the first of 3 meetings between these teams this season, and it promises to be an intense clash of skill, determination, and tactics at Carolina's Lenovo Center. Philadelphia has struggled to find its stride in the season's opening weeks, coming off a rough 3-0 home loss to the Boston Bruins. Although they've claimed victories in 3 of their last 5 games, offensive production remains a sore spot, with only 4 goals scored across their last 3 outings. Sitting 29th in the league for goals per game at an average of .250, the Flyers' offense is still searching for consistency. However, their power play, boasting a 19.0% success rate, offers a glimmer of hope, something they'll need to maximize if they want to keep up with Carolina's aggressive approach. Defensively, Philadelphia has been shaky, allowing an average of 3.67 goals per game. Goalie Alexei Kolosov, expected to be in the net, faces a tall order. With a .170 save percentage and a 3.29 goals against average, Kolosov will need a standout performance to keep the Flyers within reach. Philadelphia's key to competing will be scoring first and setting the tempo early, giving them a chance to settle in against Carolina's relentless attack. Meanwhile, Carolina rides a wave of momentum with 6 straight wins, sitting comfortably in second place in the Metropolitan Division. Fresh off a 4-2 victory over the Washington Capitals, the Hurricanes have proven they can hang with the league's best. Center Martin Necas leads the charge with 18 points, 6 goals, 12 assists, supported by a roster that's almost fully healthy. Carolina's depth and balanced play are the foundation of their winning streak. Offensively, the Hurricanes are firing on all cylinders, averaging 3.90 goals per game, which ranks 5th in the league. Their power play has been potent, converting at 26.5%, and their penalty kill is equally effective, shutting down opponents 84.6% of the time. With goaltender Spencer Martin set to make his season debut, Carolina's defense, which has allowed only 12 goals over the last 6 games, will aim to shut down Philadelphia's struggling offense. Historically, Carolina has dominated this matchup, winning 9 of the last 10 encounters with the Flyers. Additionally, the Hurricanes have been impressive against Eastern Conference rivals, covering the puck line in their last 4 such games. Carolina's second period play has been particularly lethal, winning this period in 8 of their last 9 games. On the flip side, Philadelphia has struggled in division road games, dropping 7 of their last 8 matchups within the Metropolitan Division. The Flyers have also faltered in covering the puck line against opponents riding win streaks, while the Hurricanes have thrived under similar circumstances. The Flyers rank last in the league for goals allowed in the second period, a vulnerability Carolina is likely to exploit. Facing off against one of the NHL's elite, the Flyers have an uphill battle against Carolina's potent offense and reliable defense. Given the Hurricanes' .390 goals per game average, they're well positioned to capitalize on Philadelphia's defensive lapses. Key players like Necas and Andrei Svechnikov will likely generate scoring chances with Carolina's precision passing and relentless offensive pressure. Defensively, Dmitry Orlov, Jakub Slavin, and the rest of Carolina's backline excel at forcing turnovers and limiting high-danger shots, setting up their goaltender for successful saves. With Philadelphia's offensive struggles and Carolina's disciplined defense, I think the Flyers will have a hard time finding the net. I expect Carolina to leverage their superior special teams and keep their winning streak alive with a decisive victory on home ice. I'm confident in taking the Hurricanes to win by more than 1.5 goals. The second prediction for today is for a game between the Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs. The upcoming clash between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs is set to be a thrilling encounter, as both teams look to find their rhythm amid the challenges of an early season. The Bruins are aiming to break through a recent offensive slump, while the Maple Leafs seek to establish consistency and capitalize on their scoring depth. With each team coming off mixed results, this matchup promises high energy and plenty of intensity. Boston's offensive leader, David Pastrnak, has been a key contributor, topping the team charts in goals and points this season. Despite his standout performance, the Bruins have struggled to find offensive flow, averaging just 2.62 goals per game on a low shot volume of 27.4 per outing. In their recent 2-0 shutout win over Seattle, goaltender Jeremy Swayman shined, stopping all 23 shots to keep Boston competitive despite limited scoring support. However, Swayman's season stats show some inconsistency, with a goals against average of 3.16 and a save percentage of .895. His challenges have been more pronounced on the road, where his GAA spikes to 4.35. On the other side, Toronto's offense has been more dependable, putting up an average of 3 goals on 32 shots per game. Leading the charge are Mitch Marner and William Nylander, both of whom have been pivotal in Toronto's attack. Marner's playmaking has earned him a team-high 14 points, while Nylander has consistently found the back of the net. Although Toronto suffered back-to-back losses against St. Louis and Minnesota, they showed resilience by forcing overtime in their last game against the Wild. The Leafs' defense has been slightly porous, allowing 3 goals per game, which Boston might aim to exploit. Boston, looking to carry momentum from their recent victory, faces a tough challenge on the road, where they've dropped 3 of their last 4 games and found little success on the power play, converting just 10% of chances. In contrast, the Maple Leafs have had better results at home, winning 2 of their last 3 games and scoring a combined 10 goals in these matchups, a stark contrast to Boston's recent road performances. Boston's defense will need to focus on shutting down Toronto's top offensive threats, especially Nylander and Marner, who could exploit any gaps. Toronto's offensive depth and recent improvements on the power play might give them an edge in this contest. Yet, both teams have shown defensive vulnerabilities, with Toronto conceding 8 goals across their last 3 home games. Considering Toronto's offensive momentum at home and Boston's road game struggles, the Maple Leafs seem positioned to come out on top. Leveraging their special teams' strength and a steady home ice advantage, Toronto could capitalize on Boston's scoring drought and push for a win in this heated rivalry. In conclusion, look for the Maple Leafs to press their advantage and deliver a victory on home ice, adding another chapter to this storied rivalry. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders. Tonight, the New York Islanders host the Pittsburgh Penguins in an Eastern Conference showdown, with both teams eager to stabilize their early season performances. The Penguins are riding a 2-game win streak, while the Islanders are hoping to shake off a recent skid. This game has all the makings of a tight, low-scoring clash, as each team looks to assert itself with solid defensive play. Under coach Mike Sullivan, the Penguins are off to a mixed start with a 5-7-1 record, striving to return to playoff form after 2 consecutive postseason misses, an unusual stretch for this storied franchise. Despite a rough 6-game losing streak earlier in the season, Pittsburgh has picked up back-to-back wins at home, edging out Anaheim in overtime 2-1 and downing Montreal 3-1. Sidney Crosby, as expected, has stepped up, adding 2 more goals in their recent victory against the Canadiens. Yet, their offense remains spotty, ranked 19th with an average of 2.9 goals per game. Defensively, they've been shaky, sitting at 31st with a high goals against average of 3.54. Goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic was stellar in net against Montreal, stopping 25 of 26 shots, but the Penguins need consistent defensive support to build on this momentum. With playoff odds currently at 340, Pittsburgh's path to the postseason looks like an uphill battle. On the other side, the Islanders have also struggled to find their stride, posting a 4-6-2 record that places them 7th in the Metropolitan Division. Under coach Patrick Roy, who took over midway last season, the Islanders managed a respectable close to the 2023-24 campaign, but their offense has faltered in the early stages of this season, averaging only 2.3 goals per game, ranking them 31st in the league. Their power play has also been underwhelming, converting just 12.5% of their opportunities, which places them near the bottom at 29th. Recent games have highlighted these offensive woes, with the Isles dropping 4 of their last 5, including tough losses to teams like the Panthers, Ducks, and Blue Jackets. Their defense has been a bright spot, though, allowing only 2.67 goals per game, which ranks 7th in the NHL. In their recent 5-2 loss to the Rangers, Ilya Sorokin faced heavy pressure, making 35 saves but unable to turn the tide on his own. The Islanders' defense is sturdy, but unless they can generate more offense, they'll continue to struggle in tight games. In recent encounters, the Islanders have had the edge over the Penguins, going 7-3 in their last 10 matchups, with home teams also performing well at 6-4. Notably, 5 of these games were decided by a single goal, reflecting how competitive these contests often are. Despite Pittsburgh's recent surge, the Islanders' home form may be vulnerable, giving the Penguins a shot at taking control tonight. The oddsmakers have the Penguins as slight underdogs at 110 on the money line, with the Islanders favored at -132. The total sits at 6.5 goals, with the under looking appealing given the team's offensive struggles. On the puck line, the Penguins are 235 at 1.5 goals, while the Islanders are 186 at 1.5 goals. Considering the Islanders' rough patch at home, the Penguins' puck line could offer good value. I believe the Penguins bring a bit more momentum into this game, and with Crosby finding his rhythm, Pittsburgh might capitalize on the Islanders' lackluster offense. However, my strongest recommendation is the under at 6.5 goals. With the Islanders' stout defense and the Penguins' inconsistent scoring, this game could turn into a defensive battle. A final score around 2-1 or 3-2 feels likely, making the under an ideal play in what should be a gritty, low-scoring game. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Kings and Minnesota Wild. As the Minnesota Wild gear up to host the Los Angeles Kings, fans at the XL Energy Center are in for a compelling clash. The Wild come in refreshed, riding the momentum of a 3-game winning streak that includes a hard-fought overtime win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. On the flip side, the Kings are navigating a grueling stretch, with this being their 3rd game in 4 nights, fresh off a Monday night showdown with the Nashville Predators. With Minnesota holding the upper hand in both rest and recent form, let's break down the dynamics in play. The Kings have proven resilient this season, but tonight's contest presents a real test of endurance. They're coming off a tough weekend shootout loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, where they let a late lead slip away. They rebounded with a shutout victory against Nashville, thanks to a solid defensive effort. However, keeping up that level of intensity on the road, especially against a Wild squad with a robust 8-1-2 record, won't be easy. Statistically, the Kings have been fairly average across the board. They're netting 3.25 goals per game, around mid-league, and allowing the same average, placing them 22nd in goals allowed. Their power play has struggled, converting at just 16.7%, while the penalty kill has been shaky as well, succeeding in only 77.1% of shorthanded scenarios. Combined with travel fatigue, these numbers spell a tough challenge tonight against Minnesota's balanced attack. Minnesota has been on a roll lately, winning 7 of their last 8 games. Their defense, ranking 3rd in the league in goals allowed with just 2.46 per game, has played a key role. This was evident in their recent win over Toronto, where they held firm against a potent Maple Leafs offense before Matt Boldy's overtime goal clinched the game. On the offensive side, the Wild haven't held back either, averaging 3.73 goals per game, placing them 8th in the league. With standout performances from Ryan Hartman, Matt Boldy, and defensive anchor Jared Spurgeon, the Wild's lineup runs deep. Kirill Kaprizov has been unstoppable, tallying 21 points in just 11 games, showcasing scoring prowess that's been a handful for opponents. In recent head-to-head matchups, the Kings took the early wins last season before the Wild bounced back, highlighting the tight nature of this series. Over the last 10 games, each team has claimed 5 victories, making this an evenly matched rivalry. For bettors, Minnesota enters with a slight edge at a -160 money line, while the Kings sit at +132, reflecting Minnesota's home ice advantage and current form. With the puck line, Minnesota would need a 2-goal victory to cover, a feasible outcome given their recent dominance. The over-under sits at 6.5 goals. However, with the Kings' potential fatigue, this could sway toward the under, as tired legs might impact their scoring pace. In hockey, fresh legs and momentum often decide the outcome, and tonight's setup heavily favors Minnesota. Despite the Kings' impressive shutout win, a quick turnaround in a different city is tough, particularly against a high-performing Wild team. With Minnesota's balanced offense, solid defense, and rest advantage, I see them coming out on top in a close-fought battle. I'm backing the Wild on the money line.